Hi guys. So today we are going to see about the parts of the Indian constitutions. Like a constitution is basically a set of rules how a country should work. So it is divided into various number of parts. So we are going to remember these parts from start to end. So when the Indian constitution came into force, there are totally 22 parts are there in the Indian constitution. So later the part 7 was removed and four new parts are added. So the list of parts that has been added after the Indian constitution came into enforce was 4A, 9A, 9B, 14A. So these are the parts later added after the Indian Constitution came into enforce, which came into enforce on 26th November 1949. So you can easily remember these parts by having a shortcut called "You can fly directly from US to UP to meet the child of Shamran Radha." So this is one. So another one is "Fruits taste sweet to eat, so only eat mango as a tasty snack." So you should have to remember these two words so that you can figure out the first letter. So every words the first letter you should have to remember. With that letter you can easily remember the list of parts that were in the Indian constitution. So the part 1 is about the union and its territories. So when you came to our shortcut, the first one is "You can fly." So you, from which you can remember that the first part is union and its territory, and the second word "can" have the first letter as C. So the second one which came after the part 1 is citizenship. So for this part the article was from 1 to 4. Like for the part 1, that the part 1 title is "The Union and its Territory" and it have articles from 1 to 4. And likewise the part 2 have title called citizenship and it have articles 5 to 11. Likewise you should have to remember all the first letters from the first statement and the second statements, which is "You can fly directly from US to UP to meet child of Shyam and Radha." And the second statement is fruits taste sweet to eat, so only eat mango as a tasty snack." So from here onwards we will only see the first letter of that shortcut. So third one is F. F means fundamental rights. The fundamental rights is the third part, which consists of the articles from 12 to 35. And fourth one is directive principles of the state policy, which consists of the articles from 36 to 51. And 4A was later added in the constitution, which means the part 4A was not originally designed in the Indian constitution while it came into force. Later it was added in the Constitutional Amendment Act. So basically what is Constitutional Amendment Act is, if in constitution if you want to made any change like addition, subtraction and modification, we can't directly put those in the Indian constitution. So we should have to rise an Constitutional Amendment Act. So likewise the part 4A is came into the Constitutional Amendment Act. So which Constitutional Amendment Act, which consists of the article from 51A to 51A is a common, and from there it have a subdivision like A, B, C, etc. Likewise it has till K. Like there will be 11 articles which consist of 11 fundamental duties in the part 4A. So part 5 it consists of the union. So part 5 union, which means center. So our country is all of federalism. So federalism means basically the power is distributed between the states and the center. So center will have the higher power. So the center will divide the power to the states and the state will divide the power to these municipalities, panchayat, cooperative society, likewise. So part 5 is all about the union and part 6 is all about the states and part 8 is all about the union territories. You have one doubt, right? So which is, where is part 7? So the part 7 was removed in the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act, which consists about the states from the first schedule part B. So in this video we have a previous video which is called as the schedules of the Indian Constitution, where we have 12 schedules, in which the first schedule consists of the state. That state part is come in this part 7, which has been removed in the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act. So after that part 8 has been added, which is part 8 has been original in the Indian Constitution. Part 8 is union and territory. So part 9 is panchayat. So then part 9 was laterly added. So part 9b has been lately added. So part 9 is about panchayat, part 9a is about municipalities, part 9b is about the cooperative societies. So panchayat consists of the articles from article 243 to article 243O. So municipality consists of articles from article 243p to 243zg. So it's ended as O. From here it started as P. Then it came till 243zg. So that part 9b consists of cooperative societies, which consist of the articles from article EZH to EZC. So here it's ended in EZG. Then the cooperative societies have started from EZH to EZD. Okay, the part 9 is about the scheduled and the tribal areas, which consist of the articles from 244 to 244a. Then the part 11 is about the relationship between the union and the states, which consist of the article from 245 to 263. Then the part 12 is all about finance, properties, contracts and suits, which consist of the article from 264 to 300a. So part 13 consists of trade, commerce and intercourse within the territory of the India, which consists of the article from article 301 to 307. So the part 14 consists of the services under the union and the states, which consist of the article from 308 to 323, and part 14a is all about tribunals. So 14a, which denotes, which was later added in the constitution. So tribunals means, which is basically a type of court where it solves the disputes between two parties. And the part 15 is all about the elections, and part 16 is all about the special provisions relating to a certain classes. The election consists of the article from 324 to 329a, and this part 16 consists of the articles from 330 to 342. Okay, the part 9 is all about the official language. As of now, India have 22 official language. So 22 official language. At first there is 14 official language when Indian constitution came into enforce. The later 8 new official language has been added to the constitution. So as of now, as of 2025, there will be a total of 2025 official languages in the Indian constitution. So the part 18 is all about emergency provisions, which consist of the articles from 250 to 260. So emergency provisions means there are 3 types of emergencies in the Indian constitution. So one is national emergency, another one is state emergency, another one is financial emergency, and the next one is part 19, which consists of miscellaneous. So miscellaneous means it doesn't come under any part. It consists of various types of laws in our Indian constitution. So then the part 20 is all about the amendments to the constitution. So we see, right, for any changes we need to made in our Indian constitution. So for that amendment we have a separate parts, which is called part 20. Then the part 21 is all about temporary, transitional and special provisions, and part 22 is all about short title, commencement, authoritative text in Hindi and repeal. So repeals means we can make any law become a no more valid, so which is called as a repeal. So these are the 24 parts. So you can usually remember this before you can usually remember this one by having a shortcut that we are provided in the first page. So if it is hard to remember this, you can have another story like these parts in an order. So for example, so imagine you are zooming in your mobile the Indian map from top to bottom, like you have a world map, right? You have zoomed that in India. So first thing you see is Indian and its territory. So directly you can't see the districts or states, right? So when you zoom out fully, the first thing you see from world is India. So union and its territory is first, and then you clearly zoom, the second you see is the citizens in the India. So first one is you see the union and its territory, the second one is citizenship. So for the citizenship they have some fundamental rights, right? So the third part comes under fundamental right. So with these fundamental rights, the people should have to behave with some directive principles. So the fourth is came as directive principles of state policy. So when they're going to follow this directive principle, they should have a certain fundamental duties. So remember, like they should have a certain duties. So once you remember they should have a duties, your mind should have automatically strike to the fundamental duty. So fundamental duties we have already seen, which was added in the Constitutional Amendment Act, which is 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976. So the part 4a came after directive principle. So this came as one part. One part means in your story it is on one part. So after that again go to map. You are seeing the first one came as the union, the second one is came on states. So once after you zoom into states, then we have seen there will be union territories. So our union consists of the states and union territories. So the states is all about the state is all about the union is all about the states and the union territories, right? So the union consists of states and union territories. So the after that you still zoom out, there will be a panchayat, municipalities and cooperative societies inside the state. So it will came as 9999B. So after that you have left to one part of India, which is this schedule and tribal areas. So schedule and tribal areas is also in India, so you should have left. So finally added this one. So still this you have another part, you have another story. So after that, so after taking all about this, we should have to remember about the relationship between the union and states. So we have seen before the union and the states, and then there will be a relationship between the union and states. What relations? With that relations, they discuss about finance, properties, contracts and suits, which is came as one part, which is part 12. Then they talk about the trade, commerce, intercourse within the territory of the country, which is next part. Then they talk about the services which came under union and states. Like imagine like they were talking, and they are talking about the service, what are all the service which came under the union and what are all the services which came under the states, so which came in part 14. So then we have part 14a, which was added later in the constitution, which is called a tribunal. So tribunal is basically a type of court which solves the disputes between any two persons or any two parties, etc. So this came as another part. So after this, part 15 is election. So election you have you should have to remember the part 15 is election. So if election is there, so the candidate will have a special provisions. So special provisions to talk to the people. So they talk to the people with the official language, related some emergency provisions and other miscellaneous things to make changes in the current government, which is the amendment of the constitution. So you should have to remember like this stories. So a candidate wants to participate in an election. So he have a special provisions to talk to the peoples of the India. So he decided to talk with the official languages to talk about the emergency provisions and some miscellaneous things to make change in the government when he won the election. So likewise you have completed till this part. Then after that there will be a temporary and transitional special provisions which he have, and after he won the elections, he will have a short title like MLA, MP, likewise. So you should have to remember this part also. So whichever shortcut is looking like easily remember for you, so you can remember that. So I am trying to convey these all things in English, so I am new to it. So if any mistakes was made, so kindly apologize me. Thank you.